So for this question, a maroon team and an orange team played a game of football. The maroon team scored 30 points and the orange team scored 9 points. What is the ratio of points scored by the maroon team to the points scored by the orange team? So remember, when you're dealing with ratios, order is important. Order is everything. So this question is asking for the ratio of the points scored by the maroon team. So you want to make sure you keep it in this order: maroon team to the points scored by the orange team. So this is what my ratio needs to look like. And you always want to write something down. So I'm going to put maroon to orange. And then I'm going to go back into the text and find the numbers that I need to put underneath. So I have 30 points scored for the maroon team. So I'm going to put 30 with maroon. And then it says 9 points scored for the orange team. So I'm going to put 9 here. Now you could write that as a fraction because it is easier to write it as a fraction. So you can put 30m over 9o. Make sure you keep your letters so you can stay organized, because if you change the order, then it's going to be wrong. Now, if you look over here at the answer choices, I don't see 30 to 9. I don't see that, but I can automatically eliminate this one right here, because when the maroon is 30, the orange needs to be 9. So I know this one is incorrect. And I could eliminate this one right here, because when the maroon is 30, first off, it's in the wrong order. Order is important, so I can automatically eliminate that one. And without even knowing how to do this, since the maroon is the first term and the maroon is higher, I can automatically say that I'm going to pick this answer, because maroon is higher and it needs to be higher than the orange. If you want to get the direct answer, you can simplify. 30 and 9 are both divisible by 3. So I can divide my numerator and denominator by 3. And I have 30 divided by 3 will give me 10 maroon. And 9 orange divided by 3 will give me 3 orange. So if I wanted to write that as a ratio, the numerator is the first part of the ratio. So it would be 10 maroon to 3 orange, which is answer choice C. Without even thinking too hard, you should have known that it was answer choice C. Let's go to the next question. So for this question right here, it says, which of the following is true about the value that's highlighted in the column? So if I scroll down, I see that 2 and 5 are both highlighted in the column. Okay, so let's look at the answer choices. The ratio of the values in the left column to the values in the right. So let's think about this. They say in left and right. So this is going to be my right, and this is going to be my left. Okay, so the values, so I'm going to put 5 and 2. So let's see if this is right. The ratio of the values to the left column, so that's over here, to the values to the right column is 5 to 2. Well, left is 2 and right is 5, so I'm going to eliminate this one. The ratio of the values in the left column, so that's here, to the values in the right column over here is left 2, right 5. Okay, that's correct. So let me keep reading. If another row is added to the multiplication chart, the least value to the left, that's this one right here, column will be 55, and the last value in the right will be 22. Well, left will actually be 22, and the right will be going by 5, so it'll be 55. So this column is going by 2s, this column is going by 5. So since the second statement is false, I'm going to keep reading. The ratio of the values to the left, so here, to the column and the values on the right is 5 to 2. No, it should be 2 to 5. I'm going to eliminate that one because this sentence is incorrect, and I'm going to check the last one. The ratio of the values in the left, that's here, to the values in the right over here is 5 to 2. That is true. Let's keep reading. If another row is added to the multiplication chart, the last value on the left, that's over here, will be 22. That is true. Because if we put 11 here, 11 times 2 is 22. And the last value on the right column will be 55. Well, 11 times 5 is 55. And left is with the 2's and the right is with, so I'm going to pick this one because I have two true statements. Here is another question. So remember, when you're dealing with ratios, order is important. Over time, Bailey has buried 4 large bones and 6 small bones in a hole. What is the ratio of small bones to large bones? Remember, order is everything. So it says the ratio of small bones to large bones. So I'm going to go back to my text and get my numbers. So I have 4 large bones. So the 4 is going to go with large. And then it says 6 small bones. The 6 is going to go here. So if I write that as a fraction, it'll be 6 small bones to 4 large bones. And I don't see 6 to 4 over here. So that means I probably need to simplify. So 6 and 4 are both 2 even numbers, so I know they're divisible by 2. So I'm going to divide my numerator and denominator by the same number so I can get an equivalent ratio, or in other words, an equivalent fraction. So 6 small bones divided by 2 will give me 3 small bones. And then 4 large bones divided by 2 will give me 2 large bones. Now you could also simplify here by dividing both by 2, and then you'll end up with 3 colon 2, which is answer choice B. So this one right here. Now you could automatically eliminate, since the ratio, since small bones was larger, you can eliminate any ratio that doesn't have a larger number as the first term, because 6 is higher than 4. So if you're making an equivalent ratio, the first term, small, always need to be larger because the number was originally larger. So you would eliminate that one and eliminate this one because the second term is greater than the first term. So then you need to choose, is the answer choice B or D? Now obviously it is B here. All right, here's another one. A bakery has 56 donuts and 32 muffins for sale. What is the ratio of muffins to donuts? Order is important, so I'm going to put muffins to donuts. And then I'm going to put my numbers in. So I have donuts is 56, so I'm going to put 56 in my denominator. And then I have 32 muffins in my numerator. Now, I don't see 32 to 56. That means I need to simplify. So I know that these are 2 even numbers. I also know that these are both divisible by 8. But I'm going to divide it by 2. Divisible by 4 as well. I'm going to divide both of them by 2. If your number ends with a 0, a 2, a 4, a 6, or an 8, you know it's an even number. So it's divisible by 2. Or you can just find the greatest common factor. You can use prime factorization. So let's do that. 32, we'll have 2 and 16. You circle 2 because it's prime, keep going with 16. 2 and 8, circle 2 because it's prime, keep going with 8. 2 and 4, circle 2 because it's prime. And remember, a prime number, the only factors are 1 in itself. The only whole number factors are 1 in itself. So the prime factorization for 32 is equivalent to 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Now I want to do the prime factorization for 56. So 56 is equivalent to 8 times 7. 8 times 7. 7 is prime because the only whole number factors is 1 in itself. And then 8 is broken down into 4 and 2. 2 is prime because the only it's only divisible by 1 in itself to get a whole number. And then I'm going to do 4. 2 times 2 is equivalent to 4. So the prime factorization for 56 is equivalent to 2 times 2 times 2 times 7. So the greatest common factor is going to be what I can factor out, which is a 2 times another 2 times another 2. 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 2 equals 8. So the greatest common factor is 8. So you can say 32 over 56. I can divide my numerator and denominator by the greatest common factor, 8. So prime factorization help you get the greatest common factor. 32 divided by 8 is 4 muffins. And then 56 divided by 8 is 7. So I have 7 as a factor left. So that's what I'm looking for, 4 to 7, which is answer choice D. Remember, so I had 2 times 2 left, which is 4 after I factored out the 8. But anyway, let's say you don't know how to, you don't remember prime factorization. You can keep dividing by 2. 32 divided by 2 is 16, so that'll be 16 for the numerator. And 56 divided by 2 is 28. Now, since these are still two even numbers, I need to keep simplifying, so you will divide by 2 again. Eventually, you have to divide by 2, 1, 2, 3 times. So you divide by 2 again. 16 divided by 2 is 8, and 28 divided by 2 is 14. Now, these are still two even numbers, so they're still divisible by 2. So I'm with 8 and 14. And I'm going to divide by 2 again because it's still two even numbers. That means it's divisible by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 14 divided by 2 is 7. So whether you use the greatest common factor or not, you will still get the same answer. Now remember, order is important, so I have 4. If I write this as a ratio using 2, it will be 4, 2. The numerator is the first term, and the denominator is the second term. 4 to 7, which is answer choice D. All right, here's another one. In a prohibition experiment, Eric flipped a coin 42 times. The coin landed on heads 28 times. What is the ratio of heads to tails in the experiment? So remember, order is important. Ratio, it says heads to tails. So he flipped a coin a total of 42 times. So heads is 28, and tails is going to be 42, which is the total, minus 28, which is a part. The rest is going to be tails. The part this is the part that's heads. And then if I subtract, I'm going to get the part that's tails. So if I subtract here, I have 14 that's going to be tails. So remember, he flipped the coin a total number of times. So the coin consists of heads and tails. So if the heads is 28, the rest must be the tails, and the rest is obviously going to be 14, because 14 plus 28 will give us the whole 42. So if we want the ratio of heads to tails, we will have to use 28 to 14. And since 28 is half, 14 is half of 28, it'll be 2 to 1. So if I divide both of these by 2, by 14, or I'm going to write it as a fraction, 28 heads over 14 tails. If I divide my numerator and denominator by 7, or by 14, I'll get 4 heads to 2 tails, and then this is still divisible by 2. So I'm going to divide my numerator and denominator by 2. And that's going to give me 2 heads to 1 tail, which is going to be answer choice C. Now, answer choice A is going to be the ratio for heads, this is heads to total. So this is a part to whole ratio, but this one right here is the part to part. This question, the ratio of pens to pencils in Miss Bausworth's desk is 4:1. What does this mean? So remember, order is important. So since we have 4 first in our ratio to 1, we have to make sure the words match. So it says the ratio of pens to, that's where the colon will go. So this 4, this first term is going to be represented by the pens, and the second term is going to be represented by the pencils, because the order is going to stay the same. It says pens to pencils, so it's going to stay pens to pencils. So let's go ahead and read for every 4. It says for every 4 pencils. It's supposed to say for every 4 pens, so we're going to eliminate that one and move to the next one. For every 4 pens, there is 1 pencil. There's our answer right there. Remember, ratio language is for each or for every. So Miss Valencia is filling a bag with marbles. She fills the bag with 8 green marbles for every 6 red marbles. The table below shows the number of green and red marbles she used. Use the information from the table. Choose the correct statement. All right, the ratio of the number of green marbles to the total number of marbles is 4:3. Okay, so if you want the total number of marbles, it's the simplify ratio, so I can actually just use this. I can use this right here. So we have 8 green to 6 red. So I'm going to simplify that because it looks like they're dealing with simplify. So these are both divisible by 2. So 8 green divided by 2 will give me 4 green, and then 6 red divided by 2 will give me 3 red. So this right here is a part to part ratio. But if they're asking me for total, then I need to change it to a part to whole. So the whole is obviously going to be 4 plus the 3. That's going to give me 7 whole. So this is what I'm going to use to answer this question. So the ratio of the number of green marbles, so green is going to be simplified. The green simplified is going to be 4 to the total. So I need it in that order. The total is when the simplified ratio has 4 for green, the total simplified whole is 7. So since it says 4:3, that's the part to part and not a part to whole. So I'm going to eliminate that one and move on. The ratio of the number of red marbles, so my red marbles is going to be simplified, is 3 red. So I'm going to put 3. I can already eliminate this one because the order is incorrect. The total number of red marbles to the total. So it should actually be 3:7. And the ratio says 7:3, so that is incorrect. I'm going to move to the next one. There are 4 green marbles for every 3 red marbles. 4 green for every 3 red. That is true. I'm going to go ahead and pick that one. For each red marble, there are 2 green marbles. So if I were to put red, 3 red to green, which is 4. If I wanted to get for each red marble, there are 2 green marbles. So if I want the number of green marbles to become 2, I would divide by 2. And I would divide this by 2. And then I will have 3 halves for every 3 half red marbles for every 2 green marbles. This is actually what it would be if the number of green marbles was 2. And since it says for each, that's saying that it's only 1 right there. But if it was really a 1 for red, it's supposed to be 3/2. If the green is 2, an equivalent ratio will be 1 1/2 reds for every 2 green marbles. But they said for every 1 red marble. It will be 1 1.5 reds for every 2 green marbles. But this says for every red marble, meaning they're saying for every 1 red marble there are 2 green marbles, and that is just incorrect. So the correct answer that we need here is answer choice C. Correct. So the table above shows the items left in a classroom at the end of a school year. What is the ratio of hats to pencils? So remember, order is important. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to write hats to pencils. I always like to put my words first. And then I'm going to go ahead and look at my chart, and I'm going to find hats, which is the number 3, to pencils, which is going to be the number 12. So I'm going to look and see if I have 3 to 12, which I do. It's right here. And that was simple. I didn't even have to simplify. Divide my numerator and denominator by 3. So the simplified ratio will be 1 hat for every 4 pencils. But I see my answer right here, so I'm just going to go with that. And that's it.